So Candy Owens in her show yesterday seemed rather panicked, and she's begged for Donald Trump, President Trump, the same President Trump that she has criticized and ridiculed. And by the way, she's not America first. If you saw one of her posts the other day of her putting out the Palestinian flag before the American flag. So now she wants President Trump and JD Vance to intervene in the Brigitte Macron lawsuit against her. Also keeping in mind that Candy Owens is the one that egged this on. She begged for Brigitte Macron to sue her, and now that she's done just that, seems like things are getting enormously big for her, and she's panicking. She's like, oh dear, I think I've gotten far too deep into this. This is going to probably bankrupt me. Yes, that's the whole point, I think, of this entire nonsense and madness, and she is not happy about it. She's going to be impoverished for what? For speaking the truth, apparently, according to Candy Owens. No, here's the thing. She also seems to think that this is about freedom of speech. They're coming after her because she has her right to freedom of speech in America. It is quite insane. You're going to have to watch the video clip of Candy Owens rather panicked. This is off the bat of her attacking Megyn Kelly for a very fair assessment of the law case yesterday, by the way. Have a watch of this.
The more that I think about it, the more absurd it is. Now, the Trump administration, who purports to care about free speech, that was what they ran on. Of course, they're not doing any of that stuff anymore. They're creating DEI for Israel and pushing through laws to redefine anti-Semitism. But they pretended to care about free speech, and you had JD Vance, who went over there to Europe and gave a whole speech, tisk tisk, to all of you European leaders that are no longer listening to what your constituents want and are instead punishing them for their speech. If the majority of your constituents think something, you can't create laws and punish them. Right? That was kind of the gist of his speech. The markets have decided what they want, and now you're punishing these people. That's crazy, he said. America's going to be a leader. We don't believe in this. We won't support this. Then you have a literal European leader that is basically saying F you to the American Constitution, right? Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte are saying, you know what? We don't like that podcaster in America. And we are going to launch a lawsuit that's never been launched before, an unprecedented lawsuit to impoverish her for speaking. And both JD Vance and Trump have not issued a statement. In fact, where are the journalists even asking them to make a statement? Okay, a state leader is speaking about your constituent and launching a lawsuit and saying you're going to impoverish them for executing their First Amendment right. Where are you? If you are Trump, the first thing you should have done, if you purport to care about America and our Constitution, as you're supposed to be the person that's defending that day in and day out, you would come out and you would say, I don't even know whether I believe that she's a man or woman. It doesn't matter, right? I didn't watch the series. Fair. He didn't watch the series. He could even say, like he said to me on the phone, that I looked at her real close on the Eiffel Tower and it looked like a woman to me. Okay, you can say all those things, but you should say it's unacceptable. I'm a leader of this country. It is unacceptable that this leader would threaten the First Amendment in any way. We don't need Pam Bondi rushing to issue a statement about a college male that's been shoved by a student for wearing an IDF shirt, okay? We don't need the federal government getting involved on something so meaningless. But we might need our federal government when it comes to this, okay? The job of the federal government is to defend us against foreign invaders. And I would pretty much say Emmanuel Macron right now is being a foreign invader. But no, they're silent. They are silent. And that's a pretty loud silence right now. Because if I remove myself out of the situation, it is crazy that Trump has been silent on this matter, especially after Emmanuel Macron flew and tried to get Trump to shut me up. He knows what Emmanuel Macron is doing and how desperate he is to do it. So why is he allowing this attack on our speech?
Well, according to Candy Owens, is apparently a massive invasion on her right to freedom of speech. Here's the thing. Perfect example would be the likes of Alex Jones saying what he said about the Sandy Hook incident. He got sued for defamation and he lost big time. He got sued for a lot of other things as well, but he lost big time. He was ordered to pay over $1 billion, but then he declared bankruptcy, and there goes that sense of justice, I guess. So he doesn't have to pay a damn thing. He opened up his big mouth and ended up getting in trouble for it. So you can make the same claim Oh, but Alex Jones was just exercising his right to freedom of speech. Yes, you have the right to freedom of speech in America. I get it. It's your constitutional right, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be any consequences if you defame someone or if you do the wrong thing against the law. And well, another country is fed up with you lying about their first lady or first whatever it is, but that's beside the point. What you did was you saw a lucrative money opportunity. And by the way, people have to watch the documentary in order to basically, at the end, have the same question you had at the very beginning of the documentary. It doesn't reveal, there's no smoking gun in the 5-hour series. So you basically waste 5 hours of your life watching Candace Owens and this journalist dig into and come up with all these conspiracy theories, go off of photos, and they just go at the end, well, we don't officially know, but it looks like it'd be like me doing the same thing about Candy Owens, saying that she's a man doing a 5-hour part series. And I don't officially know whether or not she's a real woman, but I can allude to the fact that she might be. It's probable. And then also, you've got to watch the documentary in order to come away with it. So Candace Owens' whole argument is, have you watched the documentary? And by the way, if you watch the documentary, then you're going to come away with this smoking gun. And she's like, well, Trump, it's amazing to me how Trump hasn't watched the documentary. Like, he should know. This is horrible. Why in the world is Trump not getting involved? Why is he not saying anything about this? It's a massive invasion. And they're trying to impoverish me, a podcaster, no less, in America. Look, the thing is, you saw a lucrative money opportunity. You made a great deal of money. You begged Brigitte Macron to sue the living crap out of you. And now that they are, you're panicking and you're going, well, they are really going to impoverish me here. This is not good. So she's trying to drum up as many people as she possibly can to click on the 5-hour long series. So that generates her money so she can actually afford the lawsuit that Brigitte Macron is definitely doing at the moment. But to go after Trump and JD Vance and demand that they say something about this, I really think they got more important things to worry about than you, Candy Owens, just making that abundantly clear. Graham Lynham goes, hilarious that she thought there'd be no consequences for her mental accusations. Exactly. She's gone in, made all of these assumptions and gone, well, that's that. Don't expect them to sue me, but if they do, I welcome it. I'm going to act tough. You'll hear from my legal team. Well, you honestly, you want to lie and then say that you're not lying, but have no actual proof or evidence of the fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man, then seriously, why bother with it? And everyone's just defending her. Now she looks like actually panicked. She went after Megyn Kelly the other day, and that backfired. She ended up deleting her post attacking Megyn Kelly because she didn't go in with any evidence at all. She didn't watch the episode that Megyn Kelly was dissecting from a legal standpoint the lawsuit, and many other lawyers have weighed in saying that Candace Owens is screwed. She made her bed. Now she's got to lie in it. And she's now begging Trump and JD Vance to intervene because apparently it's an invasion on her right to freedom of speech. No, Candace, it's not. You can't be that. You can't be that stupid. You really can't. To say that this is an invasion of your right to freedom of speech is nuts. Don't defame somebody. Don't make millions of people think that someone is something they're actually not. That's not journalism, I'll have you know. That is just like, you think that it's journalism, but what it is, it's defamatory lying. And for someone like myself that can't handle lies, it's why I am making these videos. Noah Berg goes, Candace Owens is mad that Donald Trump isn't coming to her rescue from Macron's lawsuit. Yes, she really expects the US president to take time out of his day to save a crazy podcaster who can't stop yelling about Brigitte Macron's genitals. Man, when you put it in that kind of perspective, far out. Candace Owens is full on narcissistic projection mode at the moment, calling herself courageous for claiming a woman is a man while ranting about lazy people who hold the veneer of committing to truth, going for hanging fruit, all while cutting to a photo of ET in women's clothing. Oh, and apparently Satan has inherited the earth. I think she's just like, her brain has been completely and utterly fried, or maybe there's a demon in there like Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the same pattern that has been going on. It's Israel derangement syndrome all the way. And she even blamed like the Trump administration. She's been blaming the Trump administration for quite some time now, saying that they're all about Israel, right? They're coming up with new ways to support Israel at the moment. So apparently Trump is controlled by Netanyahu, according to Candace Owens. So there's that level of Stockholm syndrome delusion, not so narcissistic, psychopathic tendencies that are going on. It's quite concerning, isn't it? Nathan Livingston of Milk Bar TV, who's been doing a fantastic job of this, by the way. Gotta love how Candace and her simps can never point to any actual evidence Brigitte Macron is a man, like I've been pointing out for quite some time. You have to watch 5 hours of Candace's pure slop to get it. That's how compelling the evidence is. But even then, you don't get nothing. And I even left a comment saying, you watch 5 hours to come away with the same question you had in the very beginning. You're not any wiser, except you're just even more confused. And your initial question, is Brigitte Macron a man, is still, is Brigitte Macron a man, when you finish the 5 hour slop. You still got the same question that she posed in the very beginning. So once again, it is very clever. So no one can tell me that Candace Owens is really about pointing to, well, a 39-year-old went after a 14-year-old child. Yes, that's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. She's been screaming about she's Macron is a man the whole time. That's what it was really about. Anyway, Avi Yemeni goes, Candace begged for this lawsuit. Now that it's here, she's whining that Trump should drop everything to save her free speech, ignoring the fact defamation isn't protected. She knows she's about to lose it all. This is a textbook fear moment. And AG goes, Owens has spent weeks calling Trump a traitor and suggesting that he was covering up a PDF file ring as a favor to his Jewish daughter, son-in-law, but now she wants him to save her from a valid defamation suit she brought upon herself with constant lies. It's kind of rich, isn't it? Very rich. She's on the wrong side. She is now reeling. And I think a lot of people are whispering to her, hey, maybe it's not a good idea that you double down or even triple down on this, but yet she's just doing it anyway because she's a dingbat, a woke dingbat. Lost it. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.